Good evening. Good evening. Thank you all for joining. See, we got quite a few people online with us today. So, welcome to our Wednesday night Stewardship in Motion. As we normally do, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we come live to you with just a break from your week. Hopefully, this has been really helpful and enriching to all of you. We're coming live and we're talking about stewardship. We're trying to drop some financial management tips, tricks, and the mindset that we need to be good stewards of the finances that the Lord is blessing us with. I'm Lionel. I'll be your host this evening. Thank you for joining us. And tonight's topic is a powerful one. Last week, we talked about the leaky bucket framework, how we get paid, we make money, and somehow I think the scripture says we earn wages, but we're putting them in a purse with holes in it. That was a scripture reference we used for last week. And so we developed that leaky bucket framework to kind of translate that to today. It's not that we don't make income, but again, many of us have so many leaks in our financial bucket. So tonight we're going to dive deeper into what I think is one of the biggest holes in our financial bucket. We're going to look at convenience because we're living in a society that has made everything so convenient for us. Everything is simply just a click, tap, touch away. It reduces our thinking and our decision making around proper stewardship, around proper financial management. So without further delay, let's jump right into it. Give me a second here while I pull up our graphic and take us through our points tonight. As usual, of course, you're looking at this graphic here is giving you some clues into where that money goes, but let's dive a little deeper. So the first thing, before we jump into our scripture, I want to ask you a question just to kind of set the stage, set the context of what we're going to talk about. So jump in the comments and type a me if you've ever done any of the things I'm going to start to describe. If you've ever had a food delivery, the Grubhub, the Uber Eats, and all the other apps out there. If you've ever had a same day delivery, you just had to have it right away. You saw it online, you saw the infomercial, you purchased it, paid a little extra for that same day delivery. If you ride sharing, that's not necessarily a convenience for some people. With the cost of living in America, some people just can't afford cars and insurance anymore. So ride sharing is kind of, it all depends. Sometimes it's cheaper to take an Uber. But have you ever bought something online just because it was easier and you didn't want to go to the store? You didn't want to go out of your way to go source that thing at possibly a better price? Well, tonight we're going to dive deeper into that discussion. So let's do it. Let's go directly into our scripture reference. I'm not seeing any me's yet, so go ahead and drop any me's in the chat if that is you, that question. If you've ever bought any of these app-based things or paid a little extra to get something quickly. But tonight we're going to look at the scripture, Luke 14:28, and it reads, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? So this is a powerful scripture. We've gone over this before in a different context, but tonight we're going to look at it in a slightly different way. So in this scripture, Jesus isn't just simply teaching on construction. This is a foundational stewardship principle. And like I said earlier, our culture tells us, click now, buy now. There's Zezzle and all these Affirm and all these buy now, pay later in increments over time. All of that is ways they're trying to make our spending, our consumption convenient. So it's a conversation that we have to really kind of wrap our head around and make sure we're 100% aware of when we're defaulting to convenience. So like I said, Jesus isn't just talking about physical construction, he's talking about the financial construction of our lives. Because we actually have to sit down and count the costs. I know everyone's saying, well, I got an app for that, right? There's Acorns and Nerd Wallet and all these things that show you your expenses and your tracking, but you actually have to engage with it. It's not downloading the app, it's not going to manage your money for you. You still have to go in and find out where those leaks are. So we're going to, again, dive deeper into the convenience leak. Now, I don't want to say that convenience is our enemy, but I think unexamined convenience, convenience without parameters, I think that's where we get ourselves into a little bit of trouble. So how do we translate this for today? So the way I like to think of this is just like I'm saying, it's not a construction thing. It's really about, do we pause and look at how much these things cost in the greater scheme, in the larger impact to our budgets, to our finances. And I think a lot of times people says, well, it's only $9, it's only $29, it's only $50. But then we don't take account for the other 10 or 20 things that we said that about. And now the accumulation of this subscriptions, the accumulation of these small purchases equate to a much larger number. So let's go a little deeper into the problem as I see it. So I think the problem is, like I said earlier, it is our economy, it is our society, it is designed to get us to spend. Consumption is pushed to the forefront. There's very little friction when we go to pay for things. Like I said earlier, there's contactless pay. Pretty much your web browser saves all your credit cards. So as soon as you click on a site, your credit card information already fills out and it's just a one click away. Or in other examples, like I gave earlier, there's other apps that are layered into your checkout cart that are designed to get you to commit right now because you're not paying now. They're distributing it at 0% over 6 months and all those things. So it makes it really convenient and it makes it really attractive. But like I said, the big thing that it does is reduces the friction that we should naturally have when we're purchasing things. There should be some sort of financial friction that you go through. It shouldn't just be like, okay, I see it, I want it, boom, I bought it. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So what's the reality of it? The reality of it is the price that you see isn't always the price that you pay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I've seen. This is actually a real scenario. About 2 years ago, my son was away at college. He called. He was like, Dad, a bunch of my friends and I want to host them over at our house. We have a really large house. We can accommodate a lot of people. So here you go. I got 8, 9 college students coming over to spend about a week. I think it was right after Christmas. Yes, it was right after New Year's. So they wanted to be here in the Atlanta area. They were from all over America, Chicago and Indiana and all these different states. So they all come into town. They're all hanging out at our house in, various areas within the home. And one of the guys was staying here and he was here late. And he didn't want to kind of bother any of us or wake us up. So he was hungry. So he ordered some Grubhub. And it was an $18 meal. So he ordered this $18 meal. But on top of the $18 meal, that was the restaurant's price, he had a delivery fee in Grubhub. And then there was also a service fee. And because he just ordered this one plate, I think it was like chicken tenders and fries. It was something really basic. He had the small order fee as well. So in the end, the entire cost of the $18 order was $36. I still remember like coming downstairs in the morning and I see this one bag and just like the graphic you see there, there's a receipt tag to it. And I look at it and I'm like, this kid just spent $36 because he was hungry at 10 p.m. Convenience, right? And so that's what we have to look at. The initial price that we think we're paying for the convenience oftentimes is not the final price. Once we, again, like this graphic says, tax, tip, conveyance fees, delivery fees, and all the other miscellaneous costs related to the order to make it convenient, to make it delivered to your door. Sometimes I think we don't count the cost, and it's not realistic for our budgets. So let's dive a little deeper into this conversation. So, have you ever calculated your own convenience fee? Maybe you don't like making coffee at home, but you're a coffee lover. So, you go to the place with the star and you order you a venti mocha something or the other, something with a ton of sugar in it, probably, right? So not only is it not healthy for you, it's not healthy for your financial life. So that costs you, let's say, $6 or $7. Let's say you don't even need anything. And then lunchtime rolls around and coworker comes up to your desk and says, "Hey, let's go grab a bite." And you stop by a local food truck or go to a nice restaurant, and let's say that's another, on average, $25, $25 to $40, depending on the scale of the restaurant. Even if you bought something quick, like, a fast food place, it might even be as much as $20 that you spend on that sandwich, drink, and the side. And you do that once, and that really doesn't have a significant impact on your budget. But what we're talking about tonight is when you do that and that begins to compound. That happens on a Monday, and then Tuesday, you didn't bring anything with you, you didn't prep, and then you tend to fall into a cycle, right? Or maybe there's a conglomerate of you. I remember when I was in corporate America, four or five people would get the same four or five people would get together every lunchtime. You see them walk out of the building, head to the corporate cafeteria or head to a local restaurant. And that was just a culture of them bonding and hanging out together, which is great. But if you do that 5 days a week, how much are you actually spending a month? So if you look at this graphic, if you add it all up for the last 30 days, how much did you spend on convenience? Was it $150? I've seen as much as $800 in some of the clients that I've worked with. I've seen literally just the restaurant budget for two people. It's a couple, husband and wife, $900 a month, because where it's multiple small purchases compounding over time. So this is just one of the areas that we have to be aware. And like it says in the slide, awareness is what will lead us to the freedom to navigate away from the habits that we haven't really taken a closer look at. So let's dive a little deeper into this. So you might want to begin to change this, but if you don't take a solid look at it, it's hard to change things that you're fully not aware of. So convenience, it's not free. There is a price attached to convenience. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's time. But we have to begin to start looking at alternatives to have the convenience. And when it's appropriate to pull the right levers for your budget, for your personal situation. So I want to actually engage you right now in the middle of this. Let's take a couple minutes as I'm talking. I want you to do this. I want you to open up your bank account. We all have our bank accounts now on our phones. You can pull it up on your phone if you're not on a computer, and just take a look at it. And grab a sheet of paper and a pen next to you if you're available to do that. Or maybe open that app. You can do a little bit of multitasking on an iPhone. So maybe open your banking app, open a note, and just start to jot down where convenience is costing you in your life. I would say start with the food, start with what you've spent on eating out, dining out, lunches. Then maybe look at entertainment. what you're spending on your entertainment subscriptions and all those things that make it convenient, and really see if you can determine in about 5 or 10 minutes what convenience cost you last month. And if you're feeling brave, go ahead and drop that number in the chat. This is a real conversation. We're not going to judge you, but go ahead and see what convenience has been costing you last month. So now I'm going to work a little bit into how we solve this. Lionel, you've made the problem crystal clear. We all know that this is an issue for us. So I call it the convenience filter. So this is another framework I'm working on, and I'm going to walk you through a 3-step process that you can begin to implement in your life when you feel like either tempted or drawn to just spend money for the convenience. It's 3 steps. Let's go. So the first one is try to find a way to build friction into your purchasing process. I tell people a lot, I talk about the 72-hour rule. For some people, waiting 3 days is too much. I would do as little as 24 hours. Just put a pause on it. Whatever it is you see that you want right now, maybe you saw that ad on Instagram or whatever it is, just put a pause on it. What I do sometimes when I find things, I'll share it and text it back to myself. And then that gives you 24 hours to think about it, if that's something that you really want. If you're out and about in the stores and you see something that catches your eye, just wait 24 hours. Don't worry about the one-day sale and all of that. Implement some sort of delay between the time when you tell yourself, ooh, that'd be nice to have, or I need that. Implement some sort of delay before you actually purchase it. 24 hours, 72 hours, whatever works for you. I talked earlier about our search engine saving our credit cards. I would turn that feature off because, again, you see something on the internet, you navigate to their site, maybe from an ad, and Apple does an excellent job of doing that, putting all your payment into Apple Pay. And then you see something, you tap the link, and Apple Pay already has all the payment information filled out. One click, it's yours. So I would look at scaling back some of those things. Definitely removing your credit cards from it, because you don't want to go into debt to acquire these things. So maybe start thinking like that. Attach your debit card for your lifestyle account. If you don't know what your lifestyle account is, search through some of my videos, my 7-account framework. I've gone through it many times. Even join us in the Minding Our Business Financial Academy. I've got tons of lessons and templates on the 7-account framework. So that's something that you could make a slight switch, because you know your credit card, you just go ahead and purchase it because you have a large credit line. But if you have this tied to an account that has a limited amount of funds in it, like I said, like a lifestyle account that's tied to a checking account, and it's just a debit card you have loaded in Apple Pay, that will also add some friction, because then you'll think about, wait, how much money do I have in that account allotted for my lifestyle or for this type of spending? And then create a monthly budget. I talk about this a lot. I got a ton of videos on YouTube about the weekly meeting. Set aside that category of your lifestyle, your entertainment, or your shopping. Look at that weekly, and maybe it's as simple as not buying it this week, but buying it next week after your budget has balanced out, you've paid some of your necessary bills, and now you actually have some expendable income that you could actually make a decision like that. So again, this is really just about building in some friction. It's not just I see it, I want it, tap, click, it's mine, right? So we're trying to build in a decision process into the way we use our resources, and try to just push back a little bit on the consumer lifestyle that is plagues us all. We live in a society where they hire psychologists to devise strategies on how to separate us from our dollars. So I'm not making light of it. It is not easy to do, but that's why I'm spending the time trying to educate you, building out these frameworks and sharing them with all of you. Let's look at the second step. This is actually the core of the convenience filter here. This is something that I've been doing for years. So if you're on your phone, if you're on YouTube, Instagram, this is the screenshot moment. Go ahead and screenshot this right here. These are the 3 things I want you to do whenever you're in a situation that this is something that is unplanned spending. So first thing, ask yourself, do I actually need this? Keyword is need, not want, not nice to have, not that's cool, not, none of my friends have this, not I'll be the only one on the block with it. There's so many rationales that we come up with when we are making a decision that we know is probably not the best decision for our finances. So let's take it back to the need space. Is this something I need? Can I not function, live comfortably without this thing? Second, can I wait to get it? That's that time friction that you're implementing. Again, it may not be this week that you just saw it and it's the brand new and you got to wait in line to get it. Maybe it's next week. Maybe it's a month out. I've been wanting, if you follow me, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I want that Knicks championship hat. I wasn't one of the first people the night that they won to go on Fanatics and order it right then. And then it sold out that night. But can I wait for it? Of course. They're going to be champions until the season starts next year. I have plenty of time to wear the hat. I've got all the ones from the Giants and the other teams that I love. So I can wait a little while to spend that $45 for that hat. Those are the types of decision points. That is the type of thinking I want you to have. It's not denying yourself permanently. It's just waiting for when it's a more opportune time financially to make those small purchases, or just building up the discipline of waiting on things that you want. Not that I can't afford the hat, but I've waited thus far. I could wait a little bit longer. I had to wait when they were all sold out. So why go connect my credit card, pay for something that's completely sold out, and then still have to wait 2 weeks for them to deliver it to me? I could have kept my money for 2 weeks, put it into a money market or any type of account and get some interest in the 2 or 3 weeks, and then purchase the same said thing without giving that company an interest-free loan with my money by buying something that's still not available and I'm on a wait list to receive it. So this is the type of thinking I want you to begin to employ. Here's the last question. Is there a less expensive way to either get the same thing or get the same outcome that this thing is promising to me? Now, I've done this a lot on my real estate projects. I remember when I first bought this home, I was doing a nearly 2,000 square foot addition onto the property. It was a significant build. And I go through and get my 3 quotes. And I was getting quotes from $85,000 to $100,000 to finish my basement build out here, put my studio in and all the other amenities I want. And I just thought about, hey, what's an easier way I could do this? The easier way for me, I applied with the county to be the general contractor on the project. And then I hired the subcontractors myself instead of hiring a general contractor who's going to input his $10,000, $20,000 fee into the build costs. And then on top of that, I did some of the work myself. So I got the same outcome. I got the 1,900 square feet addition built out, beautiful, polished, and I used some of that money to furnish it as opposed to just spending, let's say, the $100,000 just to get the build done. I was able to do it for significantly less just by using my creativity and thinking about what is a cheaper way I can get the same desired result while reducing the costs to get there. So that's the core of the framework. The third step, I think I covered this. Let me just go back real quickly. First step is to count the cost, really. Sorry, I might have did these out of order. Go back through your account, really make yourself aware of how much you've been spending on convenience. And then, like I said, build in some friction, whether it's time, removing your payment options or altering your payment options in some of these apps and places that store our data. And then finally, employing the convenience framework where I ask myself, do I need this? Can I wait for it? And is there a less expensive way to do it? So in review, I just kind of covered the 3 steps of what this convenience framework looks like. If you want to grab a screenshot of it, now is the time. If you want to jump in and engage us in the comments, we'll be glad to send you some resources, not just a framework, but some of the budgeting templates that we use within the Academy and work with some of our clients. We'll be glad to send those to you to help you begin to steward your finances in an effective way. Because I think if you follow me a little bit, you probably heard me say this before. It's kind of one of my catchphrases. You don't have a money problem, you have a system problem. If you don't begin to implement systems like this to help you be a better steward, a better manager of your resources, you'll get into these loops where you're managing your finances from an emotional space, right? I've said it before. The number one thing I hear from clients, friends, people I'm coaching, whenever we start to talk finances, they're like, Lionel, I hear what you're talking about, but I work hard for my money. I deserve it. I'm going to enjoy my money. You know, you can't take it with you. All the excuses that we make to misappropriate your money. But I think if you're a person of faith, I think you know the calling on your life is much higher than that. God is blessing you with those resources so you can make a real impact in the kingdom today, whether it's ministries, nonprofits, initiatives, helping out friends and family. If you have the resources to do it, that is better than the latest pair of Jordans or some high-end car that'll cost you some ridiculous amount of money to maintain on a monthly basis. So as we wrap this thing up, here's my closing thought for you. Convenience isn't about making your life better. It's about making better choices that align with what matters to you the most. That is the true way we should look at convenience. We should be looking at aligning our purpose, our faith, and our finances, not just allowing the pressure of the situation, not just allowing our emotions and our feelings to dictate where our dollars go. And as you know, you're robbing yourself of future wealth, of future security, and future impact that you can be making in the lives of the people you love and the ministries, initiatives, charities that are important to you. So I say take action today. Jump in the chat, comment, pause. If you do that, we'll send you a link, like I said earlier, to some of the resources that we offer. And coming up next week, we're doing another webinar. It's 3 days, 1 hour each day. Think of it as like a lunch and learn. We're going to be diving into how to build your own customized spending plan. It's one of the foundational things we teach. I know people teach budgets. We teach an overarching spending plan that has various budgets for the different categories of your life embedded in it. If you want to go on YouTube, I've been doing a series of how you manage your budget at different income levels. I think the 50,000 and the 100,000 is already posted on YouTube. The 150 and the 200,000 is coming up next in the next couple of days, and we'll continue to go into various scenarios so we can show you how to manage your money. If you have a scenario, go ahead and drop that in the chat. If there's something you want me to respond to, I'll be glad to create a reel, a video, or even address it here in one of our stewardship in motion sessions. I appreciate all of you for joining us this evening, getting ready to host some neighbors over. We're going to watch the USA World Cup game. So go USA, have a great evening. Wherever you are, be safe. love you with the love of the Lord. So if we can help you, if we can serve you in any way, go ahead and engage with us in any of our social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram. We're on TikTok now, Facebook, you name it. We're trying to get this message of financial management, financial steward out on as many channels as we can. Thank you. Thank you for your support. If you're watching us on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, please, we ask you to subscribe, like some of the videos, comment, share. Costs you nothing, but it helps us tremendously to grow and get the message out to new people once the algorithm realizes that the content we're putting out is useful and engaging. So thank you to all of you. Have an excellent night. Go USA. And like I always say, go out and mind your business. Thanks for joining us at the MOB Academy. Now stop scrolling and go mind your business.